How's it going, everyone? KingBlackToof here. So I'm going to be your guide through this top 5 weakest units of the Midwinter expansion update. Now these are the first batch cards, so the first 20 we got revealed, and these are the top 5 weakest. Doesn't necessarily mean they're absolutely weak, but it's definitely the weakest of the bunch. Ones that you won't see, or that just don't seem to have much of a reason, that you don't have much synergy or something like that, you know. So we'll go by case, and I'll make my argument, and I'll also talk about where I think you will see it as well. But feel free to contest anything I say, because what do I know? Top 5 weakest, let's go. So in the 5th spot we have Bone Talisman. This is a Skellige bronze special card. It's an item card. It has the ability to choose between resurrecting a bronze beast or healing an ally and strengthening it by 3. So while the ability to resurrect is nice and the ability to heal is nice, so the choice is good, the card itself I think is okay, you know. The reason it's on the list is not necessarily to say that it's just not a good card, no one will take it, but for several reasons. The first one, it's an item card. We have no idea whether it can be pulled by anything, whether the herbalist will get retrofitted to be able to pull items and hazards. So at the minute you'll be playing it from hand, which doesn't seem great. But also the resurrecting, you've already got Priestess Freya, Sigurdrifa, Restore, and I think that's probably enough for anyone. So you're probably not going to put these in as well as those, and it's limited to bronze beasts. So how many bronze beasts do we have? Skellige wise, we're probably looking at Savage Bears, Raging Berserkers, which have already transformed. And there's not an awful lot that spring to mind, really. There might be some neutrals. I don't think so. I mean, there's definitely cards to be revealed, which could be bronze beasts that could change this to be amazing. But unless it's like a whole archetype built around beasts, I doubt it's going to be superseding the Priestess of Freya anytime soon. Or it heals an ally and strengthens it by 3. So the choice is very nice, healing or, you know, resurrecting. But again, you've got the Armor Smith, and that heals 2 units and gives them a bit of armor. Strength, you don't normally use this card to strengthen, and it would feel quite bad to use this card as strengthening if it's not wounded as well. So it kind of feels like it doesn't have a place at the minute, because we've got the medics, we've got Armor Smith, and this is just a special card you're playing from hand for not much value. So yeah, it's kind of like not got a place yet. So I feel like it deserves to go on the list at the minute, even though in itself it looks like a decent card. So next on my list is the Striga. This is a 5 strength monster silver. It's a unit, it's relict, it's cursed. Now as far as we know, cursed has no bearing on monsters yet, but relic does. I mean, the Weavess right next to me can strengthen relics, it can tutor this card. And this is 5 strength and it deals 8 damage, which is great. 8 damage is the right amount of damage that really will deal with anything you need to, but only to non-monster units. And there are a lot of non-monster units. I mean, you've got Neutral, you've got Skellige, Scoia'tael, Northern Realms, Nilfgaard. So, you know, often this will hit for 8. There's the mirror match, though. When you're facing against monsters, is it just going to be a dead 5 strength silver? I mean, you could take Giant Toad to lessen the risk or something, or Johnny to lessen the risk. But it's like monsters, I mean, they could have Operator, neutral cards. They could have Geralt Igni, Geralt Erden, these types of neutrals, again, that you will be able to hit. But, I mean, it's just really weird to me. Most of the time, these types of cards like Meadow and Vabjorn, they do something. And then if they reach their condition, if it was spying or wounded, it will do something more. This, I mean, it could be like deal 2 damage, deal 8 damage to a non-monster unit, you know, if it's non-monster. But this just seems to be running the risk of 5 strength silver, and that's going to be very rare. But I had to put it on the list because it is a weird one. It's very strange, you know. So I had to put it on the list. Then the next one on my list is the Lesser Demons card. It's a 9 strength silver neutral unit card. It's also a relic, so it might help monster relics a little bit. But it moves a unit from your deck to your hand and then discards a random card. So I'm very conflicted about this one, and you guys, this is a great opportunity for you guys to give your argument for and against this card, because on the surface, it's a great card. Absolutely amazing. Like 9 strength silver is about right for Johnny and Sarah and stuff like that, which is great. Move a unit from your deck to your hand is great. Seems to be bronze, silver, or gold unit. No special cards. But that's great. You can go for one of those really good golds that you really want, like Zoltan Shive or Caretaker or Coral or something. Great. But then you discard a random card, and it could be the card that you just pulled. Randomness is scary, which is why it's on the list. This is not to say it won't be used. I think it will be. It doesn't mean it's not weak. It just means that people are going to try and meme with it, and there might be something you can do. I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to give ideas on how you could use this card, and I think this guy might fit into that Nilfgaard meme deck that seems to be in people's minds, where you fill up a deck with loads of alchemy cards, and that'll bump up those Viper School Witches, so they do really high damage. And you get loads of alchemy cards in your hand, and then you use Saskia Dragonfire here to banish your hand and draw that many cards. So you buff up the Viper School Witches by putting loads of alchemies in there. You get all the alchemy in your hand, then you banish them with this card and draw all your units, and then you're good to go. But how do you get this card in your hand? That's the problem. Royal Decree is one way, and I think the Lesser Demons is the other way. You know, you move a unit from your deck to your hand, which is Saskia Dragonfire, and then you discard a random card, and it could be Saskia that you discard, but the odds are with you at the start of the game that it'll probably be one of those alchemy cards you don't want. I mean, it's on the list. I think the randomness of it is scary, and definitely the fact it comes after the card that you drew. If it came before, I think it'd be a bit better. But yeah, it's definitely a scary card. I mean, if you want to give your opinions, try and convince me otherwise, then feel free to do so on this one. So, in second place, and I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, I think, is Saskia Dragonfire. 8 strength gold. You banish your hand and draw that many cards. Okay. Now, this is another Draconid, so Monster Draconid deck, definitely mad. But I mean, it's not meant for Constructed. I'm well aware this is not meant for Constructed. And there's a couple of meme ideas that people have had with Nilfgaard Alchemy, where you fill your hand and then obviously banish it with this card, and you've got massively high Viper School Witches. But I mean, outside that, I just... what's it for? What can you do with this card? It's meant for the new game mode, most likely. So, like, I mean, you've got the potential of, if you're looking for that gold Dijkstra at the bottom of your deck, you put this guy in. But you don't put this guy in the deck builder when you're looking for gold Dijkstra in a match, do you? It's just not going to happen. No one's going to build their Northern Realms deck and say, okay, I might need to get Dijkstra because he's at the bottom of my deck and there's only 3 cards left. I'll discard this Trebuchet and then I'll banish the Trebuchet and try and get Dijkstra. You're not going to put this guy in your deck. You're going to put reinforcements in or Royal Decree or something. So, yeah, the guy really doesn't have much of a spot, you know. But I am going to get a lot of moaning. I think people are going to moan about this card. It's definitely weak, right? It's interesting. It's unique, absolutely. But it's not going to be played outside of a meme, really, you know. So it's not strong. It's not a strong card, I don't think. It's definitely not going to see a lot of play. I'm trying to justify it in as many ways as I can, but that's really all I've got to say. You know, it's not a strong card, so it has to go on the weakest card list. Okay, deal with it. So in my honourable mentions in this video, I've got the Cadaverine Venom. This is a Nilfgaard Silver special card, also an item card. Now we have no way of pulling item cards, but I think we will, so I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. Also has a choice ability which is rated quite nicely. Deal 2 damage to an enemy and all units that share its categories, or destroy a bronze or silver neutral unit. So the reason it's on the honourable mentions is that it doesn't seem like it's going to be great, but it could be good. And I don't know where to really gauge it. So I wanted to put it on the list. Now, first off, destroying a bronze or silver neutral unit. There's not many bronzes that we've seen. Some more could come out that really give a good target for this, but the highest value silver neutral are things like 9. Johnny, Sarah, lesser demons that we saw earlier. So that's not too great. They could be buffed by Swallow Potions, Wyvern item cards, and, you know, maybe Ambassadors to be really high. And this will kill him without any question. No matter how high they are, just kill it. So you could get some value out of that, but it's very unlikely. Operator as well. But it also has a utility aspect. You can kill things like Doo-Doo. If he's 50 strength, they're copied from you. Very rare. I mean, why am I even mentioning it? You could kill Iris with it. But again, is it great to use a special card to kill Iris? I mean, you've probably got enough ways to do it. But then on the other hand, you've got deal 2 damage to an enemy and all units that shares its categories. So it seems like you're going to get, 10 to 12 value from that maybe. But if we look at something like the Raging Berserker. So the Raging Berserker is a Skellige card. It's Cursed, Regressing, Svalblood, and Soldier. Some of those are not too important, like Regressing, probably not going to be too common. Svalblood is not too numerous either. But Cursed is. You'll hit a lot of Cursed units if you play this towards the end. You'll hit probably a couple of these guys, maybe a couple of Raging Berserkers that are transformed into bears. You'll hit probably Howard Houndsnout, maybe Wilmar, Wilhelm if they're still on the board. You'll hit Savage Bears, So quite a few numerous cards there. Still probably is still like 10 to 12. But then you've also got the Soldier tag, which is also, again, quite numerous. You've got KingBlackToof Hunters. You've got KingBlackToof Archers. You've probably got Armor Smiths. There's quite a breadth of cards here, I think, which when you hit one, which has a lot of categories, it'll kind of spread and hit all those categories. So you can hit a lot of units on the board. So, I mean, I had to put it as the honourable mention because of those reasons. We don't quite know where to gauge it. I mean, you could deal a lot of damage. You're probably not going to get over like 20 with this. Northern Realm Swarm, you might be able to get a lot, maybe. But because although they've got Redania and Temeria, they're probably all soldiers, so you'll probably hit them all in that respect. Or destroying a bronze or silver unit, I mean, you could get some decent value. I just feel like it won't be taken too much. I think you'll probably get better silvers in Nilfgaard, and this runs a bit of a risk that you got to basically rely on your opponent's deck in order to make this work. So for those reasons, it is an honourable mention. I think it kind of is a weak card, but I wanted to portray the ones that I did already portray before talking about this one, really. So in my number 1 slot of top weakest cards to come out of the Midwinter expansion, batch number 1, these are the first 20 cards. It's the Scoia'tael Silver Malayan. She is 5 strength, a unit and an elf. Deal 4 damage to the units at the end of a row. I mean, just what is this card supposed to do? Please help me. What is this card made for? Like, I don't understand, honestly. It's 5 strength silver, and she can do 8 damage. The same as the Strigger above, but the Strigger could do a pure 8 value, so it can remove something, right? Now, if there's only 1 unit on a row, it's only going to do 4 damage. It won't hit it twice, but that's really not worth mentioning unless it's a top deck, of course. But, like, I don't understand. Let's just go for unit on the left and the right. Now, unless something comes in with a new technology patch, you as a player you can't dictate what's on the opponent's left side of the board. Every time you move a unit, it goes to the right, so you have no way of dictating what's on the left. Now, on the right, you have limited access because you can move something to that row and it will go on the right-hand side. But that doesn't really even matter because then you deal 4 damage to the unit on the left and 4 on the right. And 4 damage is not enough to do a damn thing, really. It's not going to kill anything worthwhile, I would say. The best thing you could do is remove armor from something like the Redanian Knight Elect or something. It's not enough to really do anything. It's not going to create an impact in the game. No one's going to take this. It's just, there's no special synergy. And maybe I haven't scrolled down long enough and there's some Exodia text underneath, but I just don't see why this card even exists in the way it does now. Unless there's something I'm absolutely missing, I'd love that to be the case. I just don't see this card ever getting out in my number 1 slot of weakest cards, when even when the new cards come out, this guy is still probably going to stay on top. Unless its statistics change, unless its values change. It's the worst card I've seen ever, I think. It's really bad in my opinion, as you can probably guess. So that is the end of this video, and remember, when the next batch comes out, we'll do the top weakest of those probably, and then we'll mix it in with this. I imagine this card's going to stay on the top, but hopefully not. I mean, Here's hoping, I suppose. Thank you for watching, and take care, and I'll see you again very soon.